Guys. Trying to let everybody in. Good morning. Good morning. While we're getting everybody in, icebreaker question, of course. Um, what is the number one thing that you feel in your business prevented you from closing more deals in June? Okay. Does that make sense? That question makes sense. What's the number one thing that you feel in your business? Well, I don't know. I mean, I saw you at PowerCon. You were just lounging around, eating all the free food. Like you're supposed to be outside 24/7 on the phone. When you were on stage, you were supposed to be on the phone on stage. Let's see. Carly, poor time management. Feel that. I think most people can relate to that. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Lori, deals falling apart at expansion. Ugh, that's never fun. That's never fun. Let's see. Enormous distractions. I have trouble managing. Bonnie, that is the bane of all of our existence. All right. Even good distractions are can often still be very, very, how do you put it? Disruptive to the goals that we have, right? There's nothing wrong with being with your kids, but you have to have a balance. You can't cater to every need of theirs, right? It's tough, right? One thing I face is that there's lots of productive things for me to do, but I can only do one thing at a time. So I have to constantly battle, right? Stephen, client quit their job. Wow, that's a tough one to solve. No house. Janine, spend too much time on leads that didn't convert. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Curious about that one too. The CJ not keeping up with leads. Yep. Not doing enough of the activities. Andrea. Isn't that all of us? I love it. Still letting people in. About another minute, and we'll get this going. I may in like 20, 30 minutes have to dip out real quick while I pay the plumber. So just letting you guys know in advance. Okay. Messaging them. One more minute. Bonnie worked with a buyer that decided to move out of state. Silver lining, got a referral fee established. Yeah, I've had that happen too. I had someone who was just like, they were under contract and then like their daughter decided to go to a different school. And they're like, we want to be close to her. So we're backing out of the contract and we're moving to that state. And I was like, I mean, like, listen, I'm happy that you want to be close to family, but did you really have to like all this work now? I think I did get the referral though on that one. All right. Let's get this party started, guys. I am mindful of your time. You are mindful of my time. We respect each other. Um, so today we're trying something new, trying a little bit different format. This is taking a little bit different approach on how we kind of recap the trainings that we did. Because a lot of our trainings aren't born from just cool ideas. Actually, I would argue that I don't think any of our trainings are born from cool ideas. Most of the trainings we do are born from mistakes that we experience, right? Problems that we have, or problems that we see recurring in other agents' businesses. And then we try to do trainings to help solve those mistakes for you guys. And, we make it all free for you. And for those who've been coming for a while, there's no strings attached. It really is just free. Um, there's no pay. We don't even sell coaching. As far as I know, I don't know. Maybe Walter's got a side hustle he hasn't told me about where he doesn't wear Hawaiian shirts, so you wouldn't recognize him. Right? So here's some things that I saw in June, and I want to show you the trainings of the problems that we solve. So if this is your first time coming to the call, when I say first time, I mean first time of the what is it? First Wednesday of the month, right? Just drop in the chat if this is your first time being on one of our worst of or best of series calls. I'm very curious if this is new for some of you. CJ, I bet this is a first time for you. This particular call. It's a unique call. We do it once a month, right? So this call's different. What happens is that we teach a lot of great training every month for anyone. We don't care what brokerage, what team, nothing. Okay. It's proven, incredible training in the most simplified and applicable ways to where you could leave that training having already accomplished something, right? So glad. Look at all you first timers. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to pour into you. Thank you. Right. But what I noticed is I started having agents come to me after a great month of training and totally forgetting the training that was taught. Oh, shoot, I missed that, or I forgot about that. So, what we started to do was some form of a recap the first Wednesday of every month so that you can kind of remember or get your memory refreshed, if you will, of what we taught in the previous month. Okay. So that's what we're doing today. Just wanted to give that to you real quick. Is we're going over the worst of June with the 3 mistakes that cost agents cash. It says this month, really, it's last month, and how to fix them. Right. And so the 3 that I identified in the trainings that we did, these were big ones that came up, was too many showings. Way too many showings. We'll get into that second. Wasting time on AI tools that don't actually get you leads. Ooh, I might be guilty of that. And not knowing how to talk luxury deals, okay? Higher price points. So we're going to get first into the 4 commitments of being on this call. These are the commitments you're making for being here, okay? One is video on, unless you're doing something unsafe or unsanitary. Threw that one in there just for fun. Bonnie's face. Listen, I got kids. I know what could go down. All right, so video on. Just like you couldn't hide your face from when you're meeting with clients, you don't hide your face when you're meeting with your peers here to learn and grow together. Okay, distractions off. I know you guys did not make time out of your schedule, go through the pain of registering and logging on to Zoom just to be distracted and waste your own time. No way. You are too smart. Participate. Our calls are engaging. They're fun. We ask questions. We give answers. You'll get to vote later in this one. It'll be fun. So, and then the most important one. This is very important. Make someone's day. Okay? Take something you learned today, share it with a lender, share it with a fellow agent. Yes, even if that agent's in the same market as you, go bless someone. Notice how I didn't ask what market you guys are in. I don't care. I don't care if you're just down the street from me. Go be blessed and then go bless someone else. Okay? All right. So let's just get into it. So mistake number 1 that we saw was showing too many homes and overwhelming buyers. Now, I actually want to ask you guys a quick question. Do you know why showing too many homes is actually a problem? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Right? Raise your hand. Do the little raise your hand emoji, and I'll actually unmute you if your video is on. I do not unmute anybody who does not have video on. All right. Anybody want to take a stab at it? I'm curious. If you don't do the raise your hand emoji, though, I can't see. Oh, Andrea wants to. Okay, Andrea, let's go. I just want to hear real quick.
I think buyers get confused. It's too many options. So they just get confused about what they need to do. So I think we have to guide them. This is what you said. Let's do this.
That's right. That's right. You're spot on there. So what it really comes down to is the paradox of choice. Okay. And what happens is that once you get to 3 or 4 choices that you have available to you, here's what happens. Now, most of you feel this innately, but here's the truth. You don't do anything about it. You just allow it to exist. When they start seeing 3 or 4 homes, they actually statistically will continue to make poorer and poorer choices the more homes you show them beyond 3 or 4. So when you hear agents, and this may be you too, and I'm not jumping on you, I'm giving you opportunity to grow. When you hear an agent say, I showed them 12 houses, what you really did there, right, is you just wasted both of your time because they cannot make good decisions when they start to make 3 to 4. Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't rare occasions, right? I know someone who's trying to help someone find a blueberry farm. Okay, that's pretty rare. And you might have to see some pretty very specific needs, but for most people, 3 or 4. So how do we solve this problem, guys? What's the solution? Show less homes. Right? Okay, now let's figure out how to do that. So this is the quick recap. I actually taught this class. This is I'm the only one that I know actually in all of real estate, even among Tom Ferry and stuff like this, that actually teaches pre-showing vetting, right? Um Love that. Um, right? And so the quick recap is before you get into a showing, you're going to send them a quick MLS walkthrough of each property. So you only show them the homes they're serious about. You always pre screen the homes yourself. You will walk them through with a Loom video, 1 to 2 minutes, showing them the property just through the MLS. So you could do this in your pajamas if you wanted from home. Okay. You're going to highlight the key must haves, wants, and deal breakers from your buyer's list, right? Including HOA fees, commute issues, schools, things that are important. You're going to show where it mismatches or matches because there's a checklist. I'll give this to you guys for free in Friday's newsletter. So don't even worry about trying to make notes or anything like this. We're just recapping. You'll get the replay slides, all the resources from today for each individual training on in Friday's newsletter. So don't worry about this. This is just your quick recap, right? And then you're always going to conclude these videos with a question based on based on what we covered, do you still want to see this one or should we skip it? From there, remember this for this first timer, guys, we breeze through this real fast first Wednesday. This is your quick recap of everything. So if you feel overwhelmed, you're kind of meant to, because that's going to lead you into the newsletter where you go, I really liked that showing thing. Oh, here's the full replay. Here's the slides. Here's the bonus resources. Okay. Then you do a quick video with them where you prep what a great or a okay or a really bad offer is. Okay. That's another short video and you show them what that looks like. Okay. And then you always explain what the sellers likely are expecting in an offer. Okay. If you're a new agent, right, you might need to use a little reverse psychology on this one or reverse engineering on this one and just figure out, okay, what does seller most want in this type of market right now? And then one of the most important questions at the end of this video is you ask them, if everything checks out after seeing it in person, will you be ready to write a great or just okay offer? Now, I'm going to pause real quick there. Did you notice that we may show them what a great offer is, a just okay offer is, and we did say that we explain what a weak or bad offer is. But when I asked the question, did I give them the option to write a weak offer? You have a job to do. Could you imagine a doctor was like, well, here's a really good treatment plan. This is probably the ideal treatment plan based off of your diagnosis. We can also go a little bit over here. It might be a little slower process for healing and recovery, but it could still work. Or we could just make everything worse in your body. What do you think would happen to that doctor? Lose their freaking license. Probably some penalties. And yet here we are in the biggest financial purchase of their life, oftentimes allowing them, like children, to do whatever they want, see as many homes as they want, write any offer they want. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, guys, and say that when we have a fiduciary duty to serve at the best interest of our clients, we actually need to do that. And sometimes that means putting some guardrails up so they don't drive off the side of the road. Okay. And then the last part of this quick recap of the strategy is that we just confirm that they actually went through the checklist and watched the videos. And Loom is free, okay? And you can do that, but you do not, listen to me now, you do not book showings until you know they have read or watched and confirmed what you sent them. Okay. And I get a lot of this is where I get the most pushback. Most agents are like, well, I might do the video. It takes a lot of time. And I go, well, it takes about 5 minutes. And it's going to take you a lot longer than 5 minutes to go show them the property, drive to it, show them property, and go to the next one that they're not even going to buy. So you got the time for that. Okay. But the biggest pushback, the hardest hurdle is agents will go through this process, some kind of watered down version, which is fine, guys. If you do any of this, I'm going to be very happy. Okay. You're moving in the right direction. But then they'll still book the showing anyway, because that's where the real confrontation is. That's where you actually have to be the adult in the room. Okay. And if you have kids, you know the destruction that happens when you allow a child to turn around and get what they want whenever they want it. You know that it's far worse for you to put up a rule, but then when the kid gets loud, you just let them break the rule. You know what that does to them. You know what it does to you. It does the same thing to your clients. You do not book the showing until they have watched the video and confirmed on the checklist. Okay. Carly, great question. We're going to come around to that. Okay. I can't wait to answer. I love answering questions. Um, and you might be thinking, well, what about all these objections and how do I phrase this the right way? I've got like, what is it? 8 in the newsletter that I'm going to show you. And they're so good. Oh my gosh. Are they so good? So I'm going to hook you up there. Okay. All right. I know I'm breezing through this, but it's okay. We'll recap anything that you need. And remember, again, Friday's newsletter, you'll get access to all the replays, slides, resources, everything. I just want you to know what to look for. Something in here is going to resonate with you, right? I saw someone say, there we go. OMG. Rhonda said, OMG, I have wasted so much time in the past. Now I know. Rhonda's going newsletter looking exactly for this replay in this slideshow. So that's why we're doing this. So mistake number 2 is wasting time on AI tools that never produce a lead. Anybody waste time on AI? Guilty. This is my hand actually being raised. Absolutely guilty. Now, that is not acceptable, okay, in our business. Lead gen has to be the one thing, well, not the one thing, but one of the most important things that we do that we know we will tangibly produce results for when we do it. Lead gen is not something that maybe or may not work out. It has to produce results. That includes when we start messing with AI and we spend all this time writing copy and getting into different things. And then all of a sudden, we've wasted hours upon hours. And what do we have to show for it? And I'm going to tell you guys, this is only going to get worse. This problem with AI is only going to get worse because there's only going to be more AI out there, which means more distractions. Anybody remember the really big boom of lead gen companies? Right? This happened very closely right around 2019. We had a huge boom. Why? Because the market, right, was on fire. All the leads, all the offers. And you would waste so much time and so much money. Okay? So the solution is, well, duh, only use AI tools that will actually produce leads. Right? But what does that actually mean in practice? And I'm going to throw a spoiler out there. It's not most of the ads that you're seeing on Facebook that promise to do everything for you. It's still you. It's still you at the end of the day. Just like your phone, it can't make the calls for you. It can only help you make the calls, right? Your car, at least not yet, can't drive you somewhere. You still got to drive it and you still got to pick the destination. So we brought in an absolute powerhouse, one of my favorite guys in real estate when it comes to AI and tech, because it's actually relevant. Most of the AI that I'm seeing out there, one, it sucks. They promise the world and it's really just another chatbot that's awkward and weird and everybody knows. Or two, it's insanely expensive and you could just do an option by yourself, sometimes even the free versions, and produce roughly the same results. Or three, it's a distraction. It has nothing to do, it's not actually going to solve your problems, but they're trying to make it sound like it will, and you waste time and money. All right. So Nick shared 3 amazing strategies that he used. For those who are on the call, I know some of you had your minds absolutely blown because we actually did it live for you. We proved to you that it was this fast and this efficient because we did it live. We didn't just promise that after you buy the $15,000 course or whatever, right? That then you'll start to see results. We showed you live what you could do absolutely for free, right? So the first one was super entry level. So if you're new to AI or you're a little bit wary of AI, this is where you start. You create a simple PDF that your prospects actually want to download, right? It might be something like 7 things you need to know before buying a home in Franklin, Tennessee. Okay, very specific, very intentional. We will give you the prompts and all these details Friday's newsletter. I keep telling you that just because I know a lot of you will get overwhelmed. You're like, oh, I have more questions. Don't worry. Okay. AI writes the draft. Notice this part though. You review, you edit, you tweak. Okay. It's still your job. AI is just going to make you do it faster. Right. I had someone the other day. She just yesterday. She was like, well, AI should, I don't know if I should use AI. It's just too overwhelming and stuff like that. And I said, listen, if you had to choose between a car or a horse to get to your destination fastest, which one are you picking? Well, car, duh. Right, but you had to learn how to drive the car, didn't you? That was new. Well, yeah, but could you imagine life without it? Okay, AI. AI is your car, right? Compared to a horse right now, but you still got to drive. You got to do the work. Okay. Then it shows you in that call how we put it into a Canva template. And again, we did this live for you just so you could see how fast and easy it is. So again, it's not theory and there's not like a lot of missing pieces so you don't actually know what to do, right? We actually showed you this all live. And then you can share it with people directly. The second thing, this is a little more advanced, right? But the more advanced you go, the a little bit more impact you're going to get is make short, simple videos that make people trust you. Okay. We have a prompt that helps you generate them. And I don't think Joshua Grossman's on this call, but Joshua Grossman is one of my favorite examples of this. He was already a successful agent. I mean, doing hundreds of thousands in commission. Okay. Very successful agent. He was already doing YouTube for a while and he was making shorts. He was averaging about 30 views ish per video, which, by the way, is still not bad. He went and followed what Nick and I taught, which you're getting access to. Again, it'll be in the newsletter for you. And guess what happened? His next video, it went from 30 views to 300. His next video after that was over 1,000 views. And every now and then, he still sends me screenshots of it absolutely crushing. Remember, this is all free for you, by the way. You're going to get this Friday. This is how good we are to you. All right. So it'll help you. This stuff works. And there are agents who live this every day who prove this, right? Once you make that script, you're going to record it on your smartphone. Super easy. Make it natural. Mistakes, believe it or not, are now the most relatable part of you. I know, but seriously, think about this for a second. AI is making everything perfect. Perfect grammar, right? Perfect wording to where it feels exactly what it is, artificial. A little spelling error, which before you would have got slapped with a ruler for, might be your literal saving grace. It might be the one thing that someone sees that spelling error and goes, oh my gosh, Walter's a real person. This isn't AI, right? It might be you doing a selfie video and then a bee flies in and you're like, holy crap, that was a bee. Okay. That's actually going to resonate deeper with than someone who is perfect, who has it all together. That's not relatable any more than you relate to Brad Pitt. You don't relate to Brad Pitt. He's rich, he's handsome, he's successful. Sorry for some of the guys in the room. Brad Pitt's pretty handsome. Okay. We don't relate to him. We just enjoy the entertainment of it. But he's not relatable. You know that. Well, right. All right. And then the last thing that he shared, this was one of the most mind blowing things we've ever shown you guys. And I had the most amount of agents being blown away just because this was possible and they never believed it was possible. And we showed it live. Is you can actually make your own AI powered tool. Okay. And again, some of you were live on the call. You know how simple it actually was. because people will hear this. Okay. So you pick a problem that clients actually have. Okay. For example, you created a little app where it's called Home Value Maximizer. We did this live. I want you guys to check out the replay. It was amazing to see. And this tool advises sellers on exactly what home improvements yield the highest ROI just by uploading photos. And we did that live on the call from scratch. Okay. Was anybody on this call that here now that was on that call and got to see that done live from scratch, start to finish in about, what is it, 10, 15 minutes? Right. And so what this allows you to do is you can use a lot of the free AI tools will actually do most of the work for you. Okay. And then you can build this and you can share it. Yeah, it was under 10 minutes. Okay. My own notes. No coding, nothing fancy, right? This is the advanced level. If you are not already in AI, you're not here yet. Let me tell you. If you're new to AI or you haven't been proficient with AI, you start with step one, the PDF and the guides. I'm a believer that all agents should have like 50 guides for the most random but specific things you can imagine. Literally, like, take this, okay? How to sell your home for the highest price, or how to sell your two-story home for the highest price in 37128, which is the zip code, obviously. Pretty specific, right? But you can do it so fast with AI that you can have all of these super specifics. That's where you start. Then you move into some of the videos. And then when you're comfortable, you move into this, where you're creating real tools to solve real problems. And this will become your major lead gen, because clients are always wondering these things. Okay. And then the last big thing, this is one of my favorite ones we've ever done because Drew, if you guys haven't met her, is so much fun. She's so amazing. And she's a roll your sleeves up and get the work done type of girl. And that's our people. People who roll up their sleeves and just get the work done. Okay. And so Drew actually came from Canada, moved to Texas, was not happy selling 250K homes. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with selling 250K homes. She was unhappy with the return she was getting on her investment, and everybody is different. So Drew said, I need to make more money per home so that I don't miss out on time. She was really vulnerable on the call, by the way, guys. She literally said, I missed out on way too much time with my first kid. I'm not going to let that mistake happen again. And she actually went about fixing it. She actually went and created a solution and shared it with you there. And that was how she broke into the luxury market in Texas. Powerful, okay? Because obviously the solution to breaking into the luxury market is saying the right words, duh, right? And so she showed the text that Drew sent that led to $6.7 million listing. That's more than some of you make an entire year. If we're being honest here, okay? Pretty nice. And so what she did is she first helped us define what luxury is to you. Remember, luxury is not selling Sunset and it's not Ryan Serhant. In fact, I would argue they are ultimate extreme luxury examples, right? They are the 1% of the 1%. Luxury means it's above average for what you need to make. That is luxury. Okay. If you're making 5 to 6K per commission, I don't know, everybody's different. Your luxury might be making 12K per deal. I know people, I used to look at like 5K is a lot of money. Then I started making 10K per deal, right? So luxury is defined to you, and Drew helped us to define that, right? For Drew, it's 60K per deal. That's her target. That's her luxury target. For some of you, it might be 10K. It might be 25K. You have to decide for yourself. This isn't about greed, and that's an important point, and that's why there's variances. Okay? And then from there, how to break into the luxury contacts with the text we're about to show you. Where do we go? Right? Searching the MLS for new builds in a target price range, right? So once you define what luxury is, let's say it's 10K, you know what type of price range that means that that home has to be in, right? So then you find those new builds, right? Often they're going to be custom. Not always, but a lot of them will be custom because luxury tends to be more custom, right? You're going to look up custom home builders who also build in that price point. Okay. You're going to network with top producers, luxury agents, but also luxury vendors and services that service the luxury market. You can even attend conventions and meetups depending on where you're at, right? And what you have access to. You can also, this is one of Drew's biggest secrets, is she leverages land listings, even not her own, to put luxury deals together. Okay? It's awesome. Okay? And the whole point is that you're going to do a text to get luxury open houses. And this is the text, right? And I'll let you read it real quick if you can. I don't know how well the font's coming up on yours to see how easy it is. Because the hard part is not sending this text. You will be able to copy and paste this in the newsletter. It'll be so easy. The hard part is what comes next. Sending the text to everybody that fits that criteria. It might be hundreds. Following up with them. The next hardest part is when you actually get luxury open houses. Okay. You need to cold call, guys. I'm sorry, but this is the strategy and it works. And for most of you, you are not luxury yet. You have to earn it. You need to earn your way into luxury. And that means when you actually get the shot at hosting a luxury open house, which remember, there's a lot less luxury open houses than open houses in general. You have to go above and beyond. That means cold calling the 200 nearest neighbors and inviting them into this awesome luxury open house. That means door knocking and welcoming them into the luxury open house, right? That means doing the work. That's exactly what Drew did. That's how she added so much into her pipeline so fast. Well, agents who have been in Texas 10 years longer than her were just dreaming of, oh my gosh, I'd love to break into luxury. And Drew's like, just do the work. Like, that's how you break into any industry, guys. All right. So now we're going to do a quick vote. I didn't actually set up this vote. I don't, or Misa, did you set up the vote? I don't know if I remember to tell you to set up the vote. And if not, we'll just do a manual voting in the, and then we'll do a bunch of Q&As. I wanted to leave plenty of time for Q&As. I love to do this at the end. Okay. Um, but if we didn't do, I don't think I actually set up the voting. But Misa's being quiet, which means she might be working on it right now. But what I'm going to vote is I actually want you to vote, and I want to see on this call what is the struggle that this group here resonates with the most? Which one? Right? Oh, you do have a poll created. Oh, Misa's amazing. She's awesome. All right, well, then let's launch the poll. Give me a second. Misa's amazing. Which one do you struggle with the most? Here we go. All right. You should have the poll votes. Look at that. You guys are awesome. I'm just curious, aren't you? Aren't you a little curious? Like, who do we struggle with the most? Right? Dang, it's like battling. You guys don't even know. I'm seeing these in real time. It's like battling. Can you see them too? I know Walt can see them because. Oh, or can you see them, Walt, or no? It's funny. They're like. All right, keep voting, keep voting. Well, you guys are fast too. I'm glad to know that you're awake and you're here. We got like 4 people didn't vote, but honestly, that might be me. Uh, Walt, did you vote? You did? Okay, good. All right. All right. There we go. I think the last two are myself and maybe Misa that probably didn't vote. We don't want to skew the poll. If I was to vote though, just telling you, it'd probably be wasting time on AI tools that don't yield leads. That would probably be my of the 3 biggest struggle, for sure. All right, I think we got enough votes in. So I'm curious to see what you guys will react to with the results. I'm actually surprised. Okay, so I'm going to share it with you. Here's the results. What do you guys think about that? I wasn't expecting that actually. Were you guys surprised? I was surprised. I wasn't going to think that you were going to say luxury, but I mean, I guess like if you're really looking to make more for the time that you're working, I mean, that's a pretty big struggle, right? But we were pretty close overall, I would say. Waste time on AI tools, all of this. So, yeah. Yes, yes. All right, cool. We had fun. We're gonna get to the Q&A in a second. We're gonna just go a couple more slides. Boom. All right. So remember, just reminder, because I know there's a lot of information. That's how we do it the first Wednesday. It is literally just this blitz recap for you so that you know what to look for in Friday's newsletter, where we'll give you access to everything that we just showed you, the full replays, the full slides. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, subscribe now. We'll drop it in the chat. Again, you'll get the replays and slides for every single strategy we showed you today. We'll also get you the additional resources, bonus materials, everything like that for each strategy. We'll show you the most common mistakes that totally ruin the results when implementing all of that. Okay? Misa's going to drop the subscribe link for you in just a second. And then I just want to take a quick second for those of you who click the ads for me. Thank you for doing that. It's just a nice little thing. Thanks for opening your emails. Thanks for clicking the links. It's such a blessing for me because it helps with my delivery rates with this newsletter. We're now at over 1,100 subscribers, guys. I don't pay for subscribers, so all this came from just organic. Some weeks we would get over 100 new people subscribing. So just I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to pour into you and support you through this. Misa, go ahead and drop the subscribe link if you didn't already in the chat. And then, like I said, we'll get to a Q&A in just a second. But everybody listen good. Eyes front. You're going to say it with me. Okay? Things need to change. And I will change. Okay? That's why we're here. Now let's get into some questions. All right. Drop them in the chat. Any questions? This is a free for all. You can make them about this. This time is yours. I always dedicate. I try to give 15 to 20 minutes when we blitz through it. So you can ask me any and all questions, and I got your back. For those curious, I know a lot are asking about Drew's presentation and everything like that. Friday's newsletter, 1 p.m. Central. You will get a direct link to the replay, the slides, the text message that she uses, how to do it on a phone call, and any other resources from Drew's. Okay? Friday's newsletter, 1 p.m. Central. That's where you'll get it. For all of the strategies today, we've hooked you up. So don't even sweat it. All right. Now, I know there are more questions. You can. Yeah, let me get you the link real quick. I don't know. I'm sometimes Misa's she uses a secondary computer, can be a little lagging. So I'm gonna get you the link real quick. Bum, bum, bum. Give me a second, and I'll send you guys a sign up link real quick. Sonny, I have a question for you. How dare you? Oh man, good times. All right, there you go, guys. Dropped the subscribe link for you. Boom. All right. Now, I know there's some more questions. Keep dropping them in the chat. I'm going to also see if I can scroll back. Oh, Janine, if you have not watched Drew's replay, you definitely should. Yeah, it does work. Yeah, Janine, you were telling me that you picked up. And then I don't know if Lachey's here. She's an agent on our team, but she tried this strategy, and I believe she got 2 or 3 luxury open houses within a few days of doing it. The work works, just so you know. It's crazy, right? The work works. Uh, what does our open house setup look like? It's okay. So I'm going to tell you right off the bat. That's the distraction. That's actually the distraction is cosmetics. And listen, guilty of it. Okay. Carly, guilty of it too. It's not what it looks like. It's the work she does to get people there. Right. Because it's impossible to please people at an open house. You will hear people talk about how they brought sushi and catering and all of this stuff. Drew does not, and she's still selling the same price point as those who do. What does that tell you? It's not the sushi, guys, okay? It's not to say you can't do fun, fancy things. That's not, it's just if you watch the replay, Drew will tell you it is the fact that she cold calls people and invites them to the luxury open house and she door knocks and she greets people at the door and she builds relationships and she follows up. And that is what gets Drew the closings, right? Worrying about whether you're going to have catering or not at your $6.7 million listing is actually way down on the list. You need to do the work that it takes to succeed first. Then you get to do the fun stuff, the pretty stuff, right? The stuff I like doing. I love the design. I love the building. I love those cool things, right? So that's first. Let's see. I saw other. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. You guys might be dropping questions too. Randy, AI scares me. Listen, I don't blame you. AI, that is scary. But here's the thing. Do you know what the most, this is not a trick question. What's the most dangerous thing we all do every day? Okay. It's an actual activity, by the way. It's not like a trick question. What's the most dangerous thing that we all do every day? Drop it in the chat real quick. What's the most dangerous thing? The most likely thing that would lead to our death that we do every day. Kim said, eat. There we go. You guys already know. And yet here you are filling up that death machine at the gas station. You pay to risk your life every day. You pay for insurance to risk your life. You pay with your time. You pay for the gas. AI is the same way, guys. Okay. Right? In the wrong hands, absolutely. Bad things happen. A lot of people, that's why they die in car accidents, right? In the right hands, it's one of the most beneficial things we could ever have asked for, right? It's a big deal. Okay. All right. Do we have more questions coming in? I'm seeing tons of comments and I'm loving this. Trying to keep up. Oh, I love it. Sunny said, or Rhonda said, to Sunny that she's partnered with wine companies. Rhonda, you know what's so funny? As I was doing a open house one time, and I was like, I have nothing for this open house at all. And I'm driving by and I just see a wine store and I go, what the heck? I'm just going to walk in and ask for wine. Straight up. So I walked in and I said, hey, is the owner or manager here? Turns out the owner was there. Owner came out and I said, listen, I got these really nice homes. Literally, by the way, the name of the community was Tuscany. And so then the models, right? They were actually named after so like Merlot and like stuff like that. So I literally was like, could I have one bottle of wine to give away or pour at this? I'll tell everybody exactly where you are. I'm here right now, so you know I know exactly where you are. It's just down the street from you. And he's like, no, one bottle of wine won't do. They need to see our selection. Dude gave me like 5 different types of bottled wine from really expensive to cheap so that I could showcase the variety that they had. Work works. Notice how I didn't worry about whether I had a script. I didn't book appointments. I said, I got this opportunity. I'm just going to go in and do it. Okay? All right? I love it. I love chatting with you guys, by the way. Rhonda, way to get it done, though. I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome. I like that attitude. Okay, did I miss anybody else's questions earlier? I know I saw. Oh, Carly, what about clients looking to relocate in 6 to 12 months and aren't ready to write an offer on the spot? I think this has to do with the showing. I think that came up with the showings. Um, Clients who are looking to relocate in 6 to 12 months and aren't ready to write an offer on the spot. I wouldn't be showing them homes. Uh, you don't show homes to people who are going to move in 6 months. You show homes to people who are going to move in the next 30 days. I mean, you know your average days on market. And if you don't, you should, right? If it's 35 days on market before it's typically gone, then you know the timeline that they need to be ready to move in 35 days. If they're not, they don't fit. It doesn't work, right? So I will always pre vet, absolutely, but I'm not showing homes, even if they're luxury buyers. I'm not showing them homes if they're 6 to 12 months out. That sets them up for disappointment. Me wasting time and them being disappointed because, and this has happened. This is my lived experience, right? Oh man, all the houses we want are just selling. Well, duh, you're not buying them. That's how this works. If you don't buy it, someone else does. But my fault was that I was setting them up on home searches and I was so eager to people please that I left logic and reason to the side. Why would you show houses? Don't even set up someone on a property search if they're 12 months out. Why would you do that? Genuine question. Doesn't that breed complacency? Instead, I'm going to keep following up with them until they're ready. And then I'll set them up on the property search. And there's a reason why. I believe my average is showing 3 homes before we go under contract. Okay. All right. Let me see some more questions or comments here. Sunny, I've seen some open houses on weekdays in my market. This is a very powerful strategy. Um, there are a lot of people who work the weekend, right? There's also religious things, right? Church and other things that might get in the way, kids' activities that make the weekend not as ideal for a pretty large demographic. You could do an open house every single night of the weekday for an hour. And you do it right when your target audience is getting off work. So they come after work, they swing by the open house, and they go home and eat dinner and spend time with their family. I know several agents. I've actually done some of them myself, right? They work great. Now, don't expect a bunch of people to show up all the time. It's an unusual thing. It's about building the habit and creating the opportunity. Okay. This is powerful. Powerful. Love it. You guys are awesome. Loving all these comments. Did it once. So, guys, what do you think of today's call as far as kind of showing you big mistakes that were made and then the trainings we did to kind of help you solve those problems? I love your honest feedback. I'm always trying to figure out different ways to bring you value. And again, remember, this was highly compact because it's a recap of all of June's training. So maybe you missed some of June's training, maybe you missed the newsletters. This is a great way for you to just get in and be like, oh, wow, I didn't even know I missed that or I forgot about that, right? Awesome. So it was good for you guys. All right. Any other questions you guys have? And again, this is an open forum for you, so it doesn't even have to be related to the 3 strategies if you don't want to. I just give this time to you. You could be asking about follow up. You could be asking about anything you want. I'm happy to give you this time. First Wednesday of the month. I always try to leave extra time just to bless you guys, and I know some of you have questions, right? Oh man, I've been struggling. Maybe it's an objection that you've been facing. Maybe you're struggling with an admin side of, oh, my CMAs take me way too long, right? Kim, let's go. I'll unmute you or request to unmute you, and then you can ask a question.
So first off, hi again. I'm so glad to
Hello.
be back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Um, so I started yesterday showing a new client that I had never met. It was a referral. And as the first time I met them, and I was explaining that I had already sent them the buyer rep agreement and they didn't sign it. So we show up to the house and I have it with me so they can sign it. And I asked if they had any questions, and then they start going through it, and they stop dead in their tracks about the compensation part. And they're just like, and they come flat out and said, "I'm not going to pay your fee." And I was like, "Well, we can negotiate that when we put a offer in." But it was just such an odd thing. And I even told him, I was like, I've never been told that. But I've never
Hmm.
really forced anyone to sign that because that's pretty much why I kind of took a break for a while because it really put a bad taste in my mouth. So I just kind of wondered how you would have handled it or if
Yeah.
there was a better way.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for sharing.
Mhm.
And guys, if you have not faced that rejection yet, get ready. Um, get ready. With the advancement of AI, people think that they can do anything and everything, right? It's like they've been given a superpower. And they are absolutely, if you think they're not using AI to try and do your job already, they are. They are trying. Because guess what? We're all guilty of that. We're always looking for the best deal. Okay? We are. That's in our nature. We're always looking for the best deal. And if we don't have to pay someone, we don't, right? And so there's a lot of people out there. Some of it's bad agents who aren't worth a penny. And then a lot of it's also news. Unfortunately, and I mean this in the most respectful way, we had a previous president who told agents just lower your commission. That'll solve the housing crisis. And that is no insult to them. What I'm saying is there's a stigma created by bad agents and then people who don't understand what we do, what good agents do. So if you have not faced that rejection, it's coming. Okay. That's not doomsday, by the way. That's actually a good sign because that will push out agents from this industry who don't belong here. And they're going to go find something better and more fulfilling to do. That's a wonderful thing. Okay. For those who are ready to handle it, those who are vulnerable, like Kim saying, I need help. I want to handle this. This is your opportunity to gain market share while others are scared. All right. So now let's actually talk about it. So it sounds like you did a couple things right. One is you did bring up the buyer's rep agreement. Good. Sent it to an advance, it sounded like. You asked if they had questions. Good. And then you tried to handle the objection by telling the truth. We can negotiate this. Okay. So those things, just assuming you did them right, I'm going to assume that. Those things are good things to do. Here's where I would just tweak it to help avoid this situation entirely. I am one of the weird agents out there who don't believe in showing homes to people without a buyer's rep agreement before we even book it. There is a way to protect them and me from the law, from a bad reputation of an agent who doesn't follow the law, and more importantly, I love time with my family. And I am not going to give that away for free.
Mhm.
No way. And does that mean I will lose people? Absolutely. Okay. So, what I would have done as far as preventing the situation to begin with is I would have never booked a showing with someone until we had met either in person or on Zoom. I've done trainings before on how to get buyer's rep agreements signed over Zoom. So, either on Zoom or in person. Because if we don't have the basics of a legal representation, I really don't want to be in a situation to where now I'm standing outside a door
Mhm.
having this really awkward, important conversation on a Ring camera. No, thank you. And it's weird. And it is weird, right? It's so uncomfortable.
So awkward.
Right. And how much time did you lose, Kim? You commuted there? You spent
Oh,
time
it was,
talking to them?
yeah, it was over an hour to even get there.
And how much did you make for that hour?
Zippo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Man, you're worth more than that. And they're worth more than that. They were probably just really caught off guard. One, remember what I
Mhm.
said when I talked about the pre-showing, how you don't book showings until they confirm it? This is another case where someone should have done their homework, read the buyer's rep agreement, and they probably misled Kim into thinking that they had done it, only to find out live and in person they had not read the agreement.
And
They
they
had
did
not gone over
actually
it.
sign. They did actually sign it before we went in because I told them, and I don't know if this was, well, I'm not going to say what I told them, but they, by the end, we were hugging each other. So, I mean, everything worked out, but it was just very awkward in that beginning. And I love that
Yeah.
idea of not even doing anything until that comes back.
And
So,
very likely their hesitation was they did not do what they were supposed to do, read it. And just so you know, your clients don't read the contracts most of the time. They absolutely do not. That is why you are so imperative. You have to read the contract
mhm,
every time, line by line. Most of those mistakes come from those little things. They signed away on the biggest purchase. Andrea just said it. Signing away on the biggest purchase of their life. They didn't even read it.
mhm.
What the heck? Oh my goodness, right? And so what you have to do is you have to understand we set the tone, we set the pace, we teach them, we protect them. And it starts by enforcing good behavior. And good behavior is when I send you a contract, you read it. And then I'm going to confirm that you read it. You know why? Because if you mess up, you're screwed. There are people hurt every day in real estate by their own actions and by an agent who didn't hold them accountable to their part, which is reading it and understanding it. So, Kim, you did the right things. And also, it looks like you handled the objection well because you said by the end of it, you're hugging each other. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So, now let's do the preventative. Let's not get into these situations at all, or at the very least, very, very rare. And that's going to come with us getting very good at having these conversations in person if you can. I believe buyer consultations are very important right now. Before, I actually didn't advocate for them as much. I could do it over a phone call or Zoom. But now with the NIR rule changes, I think all of you should be having buyer consultations. Even when someone calls you at the last second, I really want to see this house. You still need to call them on the phone, right? And go over everything and do it on the phone. No problem. I'm going to get this book for you. Here's what we need to do first. Okay? I don't want any surprises. I'm sure you don't either, right? So that's what I would do, Kim, is just in advance, I would make sure that I'm meeting them in person or over Zoom. They're signing over Zoom. We're going over. Another thing that I also do is sometimes I would do paraphrasing where I would do a quick Loom video explaining the buyer's rep agreement and emphasizing the big points. Hey, just real quick, Kim, I wanted to show you. It's only like 2 minutes. Don't worry. This is the buyer's rep agreement. I'm sending it to you now. Here's the bullet points. This is what we're looking for. This is how I get paid. Now, I know you're probably thinking, I don't have 3% right now to pay Robert. What the crap? Don't worry. I've got a plan for that. Okay. So here's how that works. And then I briefly explain exactly how I get paid, right? How I'm going to go about getting paid. Okay. And then I might, if there's any special stipulations or anything else to add, I'll go over that. And they'll say, if you got any extra questions, let me know. Okay. And we can have a call or anything like that. But I want to get this. Then I send it through Loom because Loom will tell me if they watched it or not. Okay. I hold my clients accountable. Okay. I'm not going to have someone tell me that I never told them. No way. I ain't that guy, man. I ain't that guy.
And
Okay.
that's what they said. They said they had never, number one, heard of that law, that it was that it had to be done. And they acted like I was, just pulling something over on them. And I was like, you can call the other realtor, I mean, to verify if you have a better relationship. It's okay. Well, I won't mind.
Right. So that's the education in advance. Right. That's what I've done differently. It sounds, again, you did the post recovery well. Right. So be proud of yourself, Kim. It was an awkward situation. You turned it around, and now you have some preventative measures to protect yourself and them. Again, good behavior. We teach our clients how to become winners in real estate, and winners follow a process that wins. All right, Steven, what you got, brother? Oh, wait, let me mute you.
There
All
we
right,
go. Hey, Robert, long-time listener, first-time caller.
you cracking me up.
So I've run into this as early as Monday. Since we mentioned Blueberry Farms earlier, unique style properties. I've got a buyer that is looking for a 3-2 house, but they also want a big mechanics garage, something they can put a car lift into because the husband is a grease monkey and he has 6 race cars and he wants to work on his own stuff at home.
Nice.
I tried to do a CMA on the house we were putting an offer in on Monday. They didn't accept our offer, but that's neither here nor there. My CMA, I either was ending up with something as high as $550,000 or as low as $450,000 because there was very few comparable properties. I tried a couple different strategies like tried to start with the houses nearby and see like, okay, that plus 50 grand for this shop that was on the property that the other
Hmm.
ones didn't. And that wasn't ending up, in the right sweet spot for us. And then I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't sound right. Let me try starting with, hey, what's the value of the land? What's the value of that shop? And what's the value of the physical improvement of the house?
Hmm.
And that one was wildly way higher than the other one. So I'm wondering, how do you handle those situations where you just can't find comps unless you're looking like 8 towns over?
So great question. And what's funny is I actually went through almost exactly this, including the shop and everything. I was helping an Amazon executive who was relocating to Tennessee. And actually, it was the wife that was the executive, and the husband was stay-at-home dad who worked on cars to give to moms, single moms. So he just worked on cars. He would either fix them or he would build them and then like give them away to people. Super cool charity that he did. Bye, Randy. Bye, anybody else who needs to go. I know we're after 10. So the way that I solved that problem, it sounds like we were very similar situations. Is one is at the end of the day, the CMA is just to give them a range, but it is their budget and it's what comfortable with their budget. Okay. And that is something that we tend to lose sight of because we go, the market says this. But the truth is that my clients want to underpay or overpay or whatever. They have their budget. Okay. And so what I would typically do and what I did in that situation is I took the things that I could find comparables for. That was land in a home. Okay. Just pretending the garage didn't even exist. Right. And it sounds like you might have tried this already. Okay. So I was just land in a home, a 3-2. Let's say it was on 2 acres, right? Or whatever it was. Get the comparables as close as I can. Usually that's a range. Let's just say it was between 600 and 700, right? And then I would go, and if you have a good network, this is actually a pretty quick process, right? And if he's a grease monkey, he knows what size of garage he wants. So, okay, I want a 20 by 20 garage or something like that, right? Whatever. I would go and say, okay, start to finish, how much are we looking at? Might be that 50K you said. I would absolutely turn around and put that on the property. And then if to the comparables that I have for what I could find and say, this is what we think it's worth. I don't care what the listing agent says because if they don't have what I need on the property, we can't draw real comparables. So all I'm doing is saying, guys, like, this is how much it would cost us to build it. This is where we're at. So this is what we can offer. It's in your budget. If you want to offer more and it's still in the budget, great. But if this is where you're at, and then what's funny is that sometimes showing them what it costs to build ended up opening doors to where they're like, okay, actually, we will just build the garage then. We'll stop looking for a house that we can't find that works. And instead, because that garage doesn't need a bathroom, so we don't have to worry about perk tests, we don't have to worry about that stuff. And so, what ended up being a great solution was they ended up building their own garage because they weren't getting their offers accepted because the comparables were showing that some of these homes were overpriced and it just wasn't in their budget. But what was in their budget was the house, the land, and building. So that's typically what you have to do is you're just going to, when in those unique situations, you just got to go back to their budget. What comparables can I find that at least give me a baseline? You know roughly what an average cost of land should be. The market will tell you that. You know roughly how much a home at that size roughly should be per square foot. You can add in other fancy things, improvements. Oh, they got quartz countertops, but those are marginal changes, right? Structurally, we know where those land. Okay, how much does it cost to build a garage? That much? Okay, you put them together, and that's kind of your baseline. Then you look at their budget. Now, they might overpay for that because it might be really important. That's okay. I've had clients who bought homes that were on the higher end because it was still the best option. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, it sounds like the way you went about it is kind of how I ended up telling them to go about it, which was hey, look, we're comps are all over the place, but you've got a price in mind of what you're comfortable with for a house like this.
That's right.
Let's go to that. And if they accept it, great,
Exactly.
fantastic. We got the house that we wanted. If they don't, okay, they'll counter us and we'll see if their counter is, too high for us or not. And that's what ended up happening. There was someone that already put in an offer and sorry, I squirreled because I saw the question pop in. Uh, we ended up, someone else had placed an offer. We had the better loan type, so they tried to get us to match the other offer, and we just weren't interested in doing that. So we're continuing to look.
Yep. I
Yeah.
think
So
sometimes as agents, we forget the basics of the fact that we're working in a budget. Um, and I think we feel like we should be able to find perfection if we just look hard enough. But that's not how budgets work. That's how it works when you have infinite budget, infinite land, infinite time, infinite resources. I know people are really rich who still can't get what they want. The land's not in the right place, right? The contractors are going to take too long, right? We are not here to find the perfect home. That's a terrible thing that we're taught to say in our industry. We are here to do the best with what we have. That is what we do, okay? And that alone is a miracle for some of these people that we help, okay? Right? So you're doing the right steps, man. Is you're going back to the budget. Comps aren't really supporting us here. But a house this size should roughly be $210 per square foot, give or take a little bit. And land around this size or in this area should roughly be about 3K an acre, or maybe it's 10K an acre, right? Combining those together, that side of things makes sense. Building this garage is going to be about 50K. I called my buddy, and in fact, little nudge, nudge, he might hook you up a little bit if you decide to build. But that would be roughly about 50K. So combined together, this is what a reasonable offer looks like for your budget. They're probably going to counter back because we're going under, but we're doing the best we can.
okay,
You're
sounds
on the
good.
right track. Keep me posted on that journey, by the way.
I will.
All right, guys. One more question, then I'm going to call it. Anybody got one more question for me? Or if not, we can call it right now. It's already 8 after, but I don't mind if anybody's got one more question. Kathleen, is that a buy or is that a question? Question. Perfect. All right. I'm unmuting you or request to unmute. There we go.
So I have somebody looking for kind of something similar. So how would they factor in that $50,000 to the situation?
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways to look at it. One is, do they have any equity they can tap into? You're saying, how do they make it? Like if it doesn't have it and they need to build it, right? How do they do that, right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because
How do they
obviously now that's
finance that
not
part?
right. Because now that's a different finance. So one, there are construction loans. And so you can always look into construction loans. Actually, a lot of federal credit unions will typically have pretty good construction loans if they have them. So that's one way. The other is tapping into any equity that they might have available. Could be lines of credit. But also, bigger jobs like that, people typically don't pay cash for. Bigger jobs like that come from companies who usually have internal financing because they know the average person isn't dropping 50K cash, right? Same for, think of it this way. When you go to buy a mobile home, almost nobody buys mobile homes in cash. Like, that's not a thing. Most mobile home companies that sell mobile homes have internal financing. Is it good? Just depends. Often not, right? Same for new construction, right? So in this case, you're going to be looking, if they don't have the assets, they can't get the loan themselves on their own, which they might be able to. If they could afford the home overall, right, the cost of one with a garage on it, then that means that they might have the debt to income ratio to be able to get a secondary loan. Maybe there's some equity built into their home already that they're buying, and maybe they end up doing a second lien HELOC to then use the equity of the home they're buying to go then finance, right? So there's a few different ways to look at it. their debt to income ratio is good, they probably could go get a construction loan for 50K. If it's not, then they will probably either look at the equity of the home they're buying, need to buy that first, use the equity there, use the asset there. Could be a HELOC, could be something else. And then they go and use that to build the garage. Or they look at companies who build garages that are a bit more commercial in their capabilities that have internal financing available.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Those are the three options that I would personally pursue. That I, and I'd be you'd be hard pressed, like, unless they're, I mean, if they're buying, they have to have the right credit anyway. So it's really just probably going to come down to overall their debt to income ratio. Can they handle from some other source a 50K, additional debt? And if that was already factored into the loan overall, probably, right? Probably they could figure that out. Just make sure, by the way, if they're buying the home and they're doing a second loan somewhere else, new construction loan, internal financing with whoever's building the garage, they do it after the closing.
Okay.
That's an easy mistake to make, which is them getting really excited. Great, we'll go get that loan for the home done, and then at the same time, we're going to get the garage loan going as well. No.
Okay.
Objective number one is close on the home. You close on the home, you see where you're at, and then you go and you pursue the garage loan and secondary financing.
Okay.
Hopefully that helped.
Yes, that definitely answered my question.
Awesome. Keep me posted on how that goes. I'm
Thanks.
curious what kind of route they'll end up taking if they don't find it already packaged with the houses on the market. All right, guys, I'm calling it. I will be seeing you in Friday's newsletter. So don't be shy and make sure you check that out. And of course, I'm here every week for you. And the Facebook group too, the Agent Alliance Facebook group. Feel free to get in there, ask more questions. We love giving answers. If you don't know, I don't have all this knowledge just to hoard. I like to give it away for free. So, I feel like Oprah, like, you get an answer. You know what I mean? All right, guys, have a good one. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.